I first heard T-Rex, actually it was in that movie Billy Elliot, and it's the beginning scene and they were playing I Was Dancing. The next song was like Bang a Gong, Get It On, and then it wasn't until college that I really like dove into it. I got the music and then I kind of wanted to know who was this guy. Marc Bolan was born Mark Fields in, or Fields rather, depends on how you pronounce it, in London, and he's half Jewish and half Christian, and he always was kind of on the scene, no matter how old he was. Like when he was little, he was an extra in a movie, and then he kind of became a model. He was always into music. He had a skiffle band like when he was 12, like all these guys. He was always playing with his name. He changed his name to like Toby, and then he wanted to do folk music, so he's doing Dylan covers. That didn't work. He showed up to this guy's door one day, and he was like, I think this guy was like a manager, kind of an kind of Brian Epstein kind of guy. And he showed up with a guitar and he's like, I'm gonna be famous and you're gonna help me. And the guy was kind of like, okay, like this guy's got something. And he saw it instantly. And Mark was gonna be in the Yardbirds, but they decided because Mark wrote a lot that he could be in this band called John's Children. Here's where it gets interesting. Mark leaves John's Children, he goes to Paris, and it's there that he claims he met a wizard. And this wizard told him secret things, secret knowledge, and he could supposedly levitate, he could vanish, he could do really cool things. So Mark came back from Paris supposedly with this experience from this wizard, or this magician, or cultist rather, and he started a group called Tyrannosaurus Rex. They made a couple records. He eventually replaced Steve with this guy Mickey Finn, who would play with him in what would later become T-Rex. And it was really cool. It was like psychedelic folk music, basically Mark on a guitar and whoever was playing with him on bongos or another guitar. And it's really scary. Then, finally, one of the last songs he works with as Tyrannosaurus Rex is called Ride a White Swan. And it's like really bubblegum 50s pop. And he's like, it's a really great song. It's kind of like the transition song from Tyrannosaurus Rex to T-Rex. There. Electric Warrior. And this had really huge songs on it. Cosmic Dancer, Jeepster, Bang a Gong, probably the biggest T-Rex song. My first T-Rex record, which was given to me by my friend James, who lives in England, and this is called The Slider. And this is a cool record. It's got Metal Guru, my favorite, Telegram Sam. Ringo Starr actually took this picture. Mark died in a car accident. His wife, Gloria Jones, was driving, and it was on a windy road, and they were leaving a party, and Mark wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and they crashed into this tree, which many people have crashed into, and Mark was ejected and died on impact into the tree. That was 1977 in September. He was always kind of psychic. He always said in interviews, I'm not going to make it to 40, or maybe even 30. He knew he wasn't going to live long. Before he met his wife Gloria, he had a song, one of his earlier songs, and it said Gloria, something along the lines of, you'll be the death of me, or something. He also apparently stared in a museum he spent, for some reason he was obsessed with this one painting of a tree that looks a lot like the tree he was, you know, he would die on, and he apparently stared at it for hours and hours and hours and hours, like almost an entire day, and like there's no really reason why. There's just something about his music, and it's so poppy, and then underneath is like the darkest stuff you could imagine, and his words are so, like, just makes you think. Part of Mark's ideology with music was that he was sort of just the vessel for his music, and that there's music and the notes are all around you at any given time, and your guitar, your voice is just pulling it out. There's just a quality of reflection and nostalgia that comes from his music. A lot of people kind of write these off as like not the best production work. I mean, but I would have to disagree. If anything, it's underproduced, but the guitars sound great, his voice sounds good. There's like hardly any reverb, which is cool because back then everything was trenched in reverb. He crossed that boundary between, you know, time and what sounded like what in what decade. Like, he was always about that cool sounding words and how it fit with the music. Rather than musicians, a lot of people these days have so much to say, and you can do that with fewer words, and he did that. And his simplicity, like the simple chords, and okay, like getting that underlying darkness, I'm all about that. I listen to him to feel happy, and I listen to him to get low, you know? So